Covenant's backyard has always been a special place, surrounded by reminders of God's presence. Its trees, grass, even air, constantly changing and adapting to seasons, growth, weather, and time. It is for this reason that this space feels like such an appropriate representation of the year 2020 for LCC, a year of adaptation, growth, and change. In the early months of 2020, Linwood Covenant was already following a forward-moving path. Our regular ministries were thriving and new ones were developing too. The knitting and crocheting class, as well as the quilters group, was meeting regularly. There was quarterly fika, WOW gatherings, and the youth group embarked, without injury, on their annual weekend ski trip and lock-in. Wednesday nights were bustling with adults and children alike enjoying Linwood Midweek, guided in by a beautiful new digital outdoor sign. And our church was in the beginning stages of an internal remodel as set out in our vision plan. On Celebration Sunday, Pastor Dave encouraged the church to focus on community presence in our For Linwood campaign. He wanted us to look for more ways to minister to our communities and explore opportunities of outreach we had missed before. 2020 was looking exciting and promising for all the ministries at Linwood Covenant.
Social distancing is hard. It's difficult, and in my experience, it's no fun. I'm trying to get better at it, and hopefully we're all doing our part to flatten the curve, as they say, and we look forward to being back together. But as a church, we're committed to doing our part and to make the best of it.
Church was relentless and determined to figure out ways to reach out to both LCC and the wider Linwood community. One of the first questions to be addressed was how we could utilize technology to continue worshiping and expanding our reach for Christ. Jonathan Van Beek played a large role on our behind-the-scenes team, detangling the knot of cord COVID handed us.
So my name is Jonathan Van Beek. My wife and 2 kids have been here for about 5 years. We moved up to the area in about 2015. Very soon I got involved with the audio and the sound ministry here, helping with the worship team. You know, we had always kicked around the idea of, well, hey, maybe it'd be fun to do like a live stream and get that going. And then 2020 happened, and we were kind of forced into it, if you will, along with every other church on the face of the planet, literally. We couldn't find supplies or cameras or any of the production equipment because the inventory was just instantly dried up. So we had to adapt. Early on, it was a lot of iPhones and iPads, using a few different pieces of software. I don't know if you guys ever came to the Sunday mornings in the backyard. A lot of cords, all that to go out into one little YouTube video that has been seen, I don't know, all over the country, if not all over the world, which is really cool. It's really amazing, I think. I hope Sunday mornings are a good experience for everybody. It's very important to me and Chris Stolzman and all the other people behind the soundboards and the computers to pull that off every Sunday, because, you know, we're not just doing it for the people that come in on Sunday mornings into the building. It's now for anybody who's got access to YouTube or wherever we push it to. I think it is a major celebration that we have come this far, that we're able to pull off a really good YouTube broadcast every Sunday morning. It would have taken us longer to get there, and 2020 having forced us into it, we had to figure that out really fast, and we did, and I think that's something we could really celebrate.
Pastor Dave coming to you from our new YouTube studio at Linwood Covenant. Just filmed another First Word. Thankful for our first word. We developed it pretty quickly in the midst of COVID for us to stay connected and to stay in God's Word. I know many new people to Linwood Covenant started interacting with First Word, and they've told me, many of you know who you are, that we were watching First Word, and then we've come to church and become a part of our body. So thanks to everybody that's been a part of this journey with First Word. We're excited for what is to come.
Who don't know me, my name is Beth Zach, and one of the ministries I'm on is I am on the lead team as secretary. I've also been I've helped out with the nursery and with fundraisers for the youth group, and kind of anywhere that I can help. Joys, things that have been an anchor, or rather a buoy for me through COVID, is I am a teacher, and when we had to go distance learning last spring, it was just a new experience and really difficult, and being able to go to First Word every day, it was like my mid-morning boost to help me through my day and through all of the very kind of loneliness of teaching and not seeing my students, and just the extra work that was involved there. So that was my buoy and continues to be an inspiration.
I'm Dan.
I'm Carol Nelson.
And we've been coming to Linwood Covenant since last August. We came to the outdoor services. We had watched for a while online, but we really have enjoyed Pastor and the leadership, the staff. And although it's been difficult to recognize people with masks on, we were given a directory, but it's hard still to recognize who people are.
It was really nice in the summer when we met outside, then we felt like we could be here without masks, distanced outside, and we got to know quite a few people. People here are very friendly. We had a lot of people, made us feel welcome. It's so obvious the love that you have here for others, for the community, and so many ministries. We're looking forward to getting more involved and seeing maybe what a more normal year looks like. I don't know.
We'll be able to see people's faces.
Yeah, we look forward to that.
And to see kids.
Yeah.
Because we're used to seeing kids around the church, and that's we're excited.
COVID spoiled the fun for both our kids and youth ministries as well. With Linwood Midweek, children's worship, and confirmation class canceled, both Pastor Chris and Children's Ministry Director Renee Erickson took to learning the ropes of recording online content. At the beginning of summer, we invited all the midweek children and youth to a drive-through summer kickoff in our parking lot. We served up Smokey's barbecue and offered an opportunity for kids to see faces they hadn't seen in a while. During summer, Pastor Chris hosted Somerset, pairing volleyball and Bible study together for youth. He also helped the rest of our children's ministry team with Backyard Mornings, a once-a-week activity inviting elementary-aged kids to come learn about the Bible, play some games, and most of all, bring some normalcy back into their life. Laura Patopa, LCC's nursery coordinator, stepped in to assist in putting Backyard Mornings together.
Well, I'm Laura Patopa, and I started coming to Linwood about September of 2019, I guess that would be. And so I started just a couple months before the pandemic hit. I joined the children's ministry team as the nursery coordinator, and we haven't had nursery, but I was able to help with Backyard Mornings, and it was so fun. I think our goal for Backyard Mornings was to give the kids a little taste of normalcy and a little reminder of what church was, because church got so different online that we wanted to give them a taste of, don't forget where we are and what we do here. I think it was a fantastic ministry, and it was great for the kids to be outside and interacting, and I think it's something that I would love to see continue. 2020 was an interesting way to get kids involved in distance ways. And I think that can really be a benefit, especially to kids who maybe live in two different households, and be able to bring some consistency into kids that might not have that consistency. And it forced us to take that step. And I think that step could really be a benefit as we look towards the future.
While all of this was happening in our backyard, it was decided to make lemonade from the lemons and dive headfirst into our vision renovation. In addition to outdoor improvements, like the Garden of Grace moving and sidewalks being added, within just a couple of weeks, much of the church was torn apart. Staff primarily working remotely, Paul Nygren and many others were able to come in to put up walls, rewire, paint, and give LCC a whole new look without inconveniencing any ministries, because no one was meeting anyway. A delay in fall weather rewarded us with the opportunity to bring the LCC Kids and Youth Ministries back to Wednesday nights in September. It was another time our sizable backyard came in handy. Using strategic placement and careful planning, everyone was able to come back together again in person in the great outdoors. This also gave the renovation crews the time to finish off details that allowed Wednesday nights to shift back inside just in time for October snow. This time, it was also decided that we should begin to cautiously worship indoors together once more. We socially distanced by family and also wore masks, but we were together nonetheless. Throughout the duration of the pandemic, our outreach ministries were adding to the impact of LCC's increased digital presence by doing all they could to physically help people in the community. Even with numerous restrictions in place, the missions ministry navigated many successful programs in the community. Manna Market switched to a drive-up format in order to still provide food to those in need. Lunches were provided all summer on Tuesdays to families with children. And while the quilting group was put on pause, LCC folks sewed over 4,000 masks to donate. With modifications, Missions was still able to provide a free community Thanksgiving meal, also drive-up style, as well as facilitate the packing of Operation Christmas Child shoeboxes, the sending of over 150 Christmas cards to missionaries, and the delivery of Christmas gifts to those at Minnesota Adult and Teen Challenge. We also launched a new monthly missions email to keep everyone up to date on new serving opportunities and highlight our supported missionaries all over the world. Pastor Terry and the care team were visiting those they could and checking in frequently on those they couldn't to ensure their spiritual, physical, and emotional needs were being met. And when possible, men's and women's Bible studies resumed cautiously gathering together. Despite COVID-related risks, the people of LCC showed up not only to connect with one another, but to serve in missions and in the necessary tasks required to keep Linwood Covenant services and outreach afloat. Sasha Bankston, a familiar face to anyone attending services or with a child in LCC Kids, was one of those eager volunteers.
So for those who don't know me, my name is Sasha, and this past year I was involved in a few different things at Linwood. I was involved in the hospitality team throughout the summer and the services, and I did some of the children's ministry throughout the summer and into the fall. And then later on in the year, I was involved in Backyard Bethlehem. I think that for a long time I was hesitant to get involved with the church because I didn't know what my skills and gifts were, but I think 2020 opened up a lot of opportunities. Whether you're doing hospitality and you're helping setting up worship services outdoors, or you're working with the kids and they're doing a summer camp and you're involved with the kids, and just to see those smiles and the joy that they have, even in the midst of the pandemic and all the changes and things happen in 2020, you can still see the bright spots, and I think that's really important to hold on to. And I just overall really enjoyed getting to know the people at the church, and getting to know the members and the staff, and just being involved in a place that I can call home, and that's my family.
As we neared the end of this tumultuous year, the question loomed large what to do about Christmas. It was in answering that question that the idea for Backyard Bethlehem was hatched. With hours of thought, work, and dedication put in by LCC staff and volunteers, we hosted a drive-through nativity experience that, again, was made possible by our backyard. The event ran for a total of 3 nights, with our actual event scheduled for Christmas Eve needing to be canceled for snow. The first weekend alone saw us welcoming nearly 550 people, serving them pre-packaged homemade Christmas cookies in their car and providing them with an immersive Christmas story experience.
Even Backyard Bethlehem, I think, was a huge success, and that was really awesome to see multiple members in the community come out. And so yeah, we just found it online, and we thought this experience would be fun because they simply needed an experience, and they wanted to do it in a safe way, and we were able to give that to many more people than just people of LCC, but in the community. And for me serving, it was great to see that impact beyond just the members of the church. Because sometimes I feel like we can just feel that we're serving to the people of the church, but when you hear the feedback from the community, that was really a big thing for me to see in 2020, was the openness that we had to the community.
What it really boils down to is that despite 2020 being a year full of disappointments, loss, worry, and unknowns, it also brought some of the very best things out of us as individuals and as a church. Linwood Covenant succeeded at so much more than surviving a pandemic year. We thrived, and that makes us more than capable of tackling whatever mountains God's going to help us summit together this year. Here's to seeking God, journeying as family, and serving our community another year together in 2021.